Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross was on Capitol Hill today, getting grilled about his plan to include a citizenship question on the 2020 census. Wait, what's that sound? Is it? Could it be?
This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us.
I promise you, we had a really good report on the Ross hearing prepared. But come on, folks. How is old Wilbur going to compete with the dreamy, affable hipster dad, Beto O'Rourke? O'Rourke, a former congressman from Texas you may have heard of, announced his presidential run today. He's already in Iowa, on the stump. 6 months ago, Beto was the hottest thing going. He was running against Ted Cruz, and Democrats were stoked. Beto's name was everywhere, not just in Texas, but all over the country. His campaign raised more money than any Senate campaign ever. All the best reporters profiled him. He lost. But the margin was small enough that it made the Beto fire burn hotter. A lot of people wanted him to run for president.
What's it gonna take for you to say, yes, I'm doing it?
Then, suddenly, a lot of Democratic voters didn't want him to run. Most vocally, supporters of this guy. They thought Beto was awesome for Texas in 2018, but much less awesome for America in 2020. Beto's now being cast by those people as not the progressive hero you may remember hearing about, but as a dangerous establishment figure who might even be a secret Republican. As a congressman, Beto voted with the Trump administration 30% of the time, according to an analysis from 538.com. A lot of those votes were for Texas-y things. He voted for a bill to allow oil exports, for example. Progressives say that will create more oil production, which is bad for the earth. Texans say a lot of us work in the oil industry, so it's good for Texas. But Beto does support a ton of progressive causes, like universal health care, gun control, and immigration reform. He recently said that he'd take down existing border fencing if he could.
We project our fears and anxieties to places like El Paso, to the U.S.-Mexico border, and punish the people who live here.
On the trail, Beto's going to get asked a lot about which persona is the real him. He started workshopping his answer before he even announced.
In Texas, Ted Cruz called me a socialist. I'm too liberal for Texas. Outside of Texas, people say, is he really a Democrat? I think he's a closet Republican. I don't know where I am on the spectrum, and I almost could care less.
There's two ways this could go. Democratic primary voters can decide that 2020 is all about progressive purity. Or they can decide it's about electability, with voters rallying around a candidate they think can actually beat President Trump. It's hard to figure out which one it's going to be this early. But we have one way to measure how Beto's rep has changed. Democrats these days are all about small dollar donations. In the first 24 hours of Bernie's 2020 bid, he raised $5.9 million from 223,047 separate donors. If Beto can raise a ton of cash from a ton of people in the first day of his candidacy, he can quiet some of the doubters. His rivals are clearly taking him seriously. Bernie supporters have already launched their own money bomb to try and outraise Beto in those first 24 hours. Kamala Harris jabbed at Beto's white maleness in her fundraising plea today, tapping into criticism that Beto's wandering the country routine would never have flown for a female candidate. How will all this backlash affect Beto's chances in the long run? Check back in a few days. If Beto hauls in the cash, he may have already put this whole labeling controversy behind him. If the Bernie people can blow him out of the water, maybe we'd all be better off talking about Wilbur Ross.